Oh my god, yes! Rewind the tape!
Welcome back to Wait, Rewind the Tape. This is
Sorry.
your favourite podcast where we... It better be. And if it isn't, why? And if it is, why haven't you rated us? Anyway, we'll get to that at the end. Chaos already. No, this is your favourite podcast where we watch random episodes of past loved TV shows that we now realise are problematic as hell.
We never liked them. We just,
No, I loved Sex and the City. Spoiler alert, we watched an episode of Sex and the City, a random one.
Thoroughly enjoyed it, but I didn't watch it when it came out, so it was like, I always was like, this is a mess.
Man, I didn't watch them properly when they came out, because maybe I was a touch too young, but in my first year of university, and then I think throughout my university years, I got the box set from HMV,
God bless.
Yeah, I know, the DVD, and it was in like a shoe box. It made it look like
I remember the one.
Oh my god, I would watch that every night. That's, oh my god, imagine before streaming platforms. I mean, you were probably limited in what you could watch anyway.
Yeah.
But to be fair, even if we had streaming platforms, I probably would have still just watched the same fucking thing all the time. And I would just watch it just constantly.
Marketing.
It is, but then it's also it's looking back on it now, it's really not the thing that you should be doing if you're like, well, who am I to say what you shouldn't be doing? But if you're, nursing a broken heart or whatever, like going back to those kind of TV shows as if they're going to help you.
It helped me, I can't lie. Today's episode it made me think about that particular episode. Like, whereas before I'd have just like laughed and be like, this is so dumb. Now I'm like, I have these problems. I'm going to an age where I'm like, I do that.
But the problem is, I think that it's not the solutions that you're getting given are not good, and so you're looking to them almost as if for guidance, or I mean, not necessarily that you're thinking about guidance. I know, I think when you're, especially for me when I was in my early 20s, and like Sex and the City was such a big thing, and we were all like,
they were so fashionable,
you really
blah,
really
blah.
looked to it as if it was like the show of a generation, and it's like, this is what women were doing, this is how we were living, and it's not like, don't get me wrong, in many ways it is, but it's just, I don't know, the way that they behave without recognizing that these things are a bad patterns of behavior, so you see yourself in them, but it's kind of like it's okay, rather than like,
but that's
no,
TV to this day. That is TV to this day.
I guess,
because
maybe.
All TV, and I was thinking that about music as well, it's not necessarily supposed to show you the way. Sometimes it is just capturing a moment, and life is incredibly messy.
It's not that I expected it to show me the way. I think it's because when I watched it, I was impressionable, and it was something
you
that
really
I put
wanted
a
to be
lot
like
of
those girls. Kind of thing.
I think it's just something that and like a lot of the people that I was hanging around with at the time, which is basically everybody, but I think a lot of stock was just put by it, and so it's and yeah, everybody being again very thin and beautiful, and everybody having enough money for all of these clothes, and like going out eating and drinking in nice places all the time, and never getting like blackout drunk. Why do they never show that side of things? That's when, like, when girls came along, and it was like, okay, this was more, well, they're always having freaking Cosmos and Manhattans and whatnot, but what I don't get is like they'll order a drink and then they just don't drink it.
That's what I mean.
Okay,
they're not
bye.
Like they don't just like buy the drink and they're like they
down it like it's water.
I would have been like, okay, I'm finished with this, where's the next night? But no, they're not alcoholics apparently.
Well, whatever. So yeah, guys, the episode that we watched was from season 2, episode 13, I think it was. It's called Games People Play, and it's just after Carrie and Big have broken up for the first time round, the first go around, and she's talking.
The first of many, honey.
Yeah, Jesus.
Relatable.
How is it? Yo-yo relationship. Back and forth, up and down, round and round.
My favorite kind,
The one
historically speaking.
Would I call it my favorite kind? No. Would I call it the kind that I find myself in?
Yeah.
Yes.
Same.
Definitely not my favorite kind. Do I think that I've experienced a different kind of caring, loving, rich, wholesome,
sorry,
wonderful love? No.
That shouldn't have made me laugh.
So do I have anything to compare it to? Absolutely not. Maybe it is better than that kind of love, which maybe I would find boring. I don't think so, but
sorry.
But who knows? So Big and Carrie have just broken up for the first time, and I think this is because she realizes that he's never really going to commit to her in the way that she needs or wants. He's thinking about like moving to Paris and hasn't even thought about her. She's not even a consideration. He doesn't even want her to move to Paris with him.
Yeah.
So yeah, big old mess. And she and Carrie, that is, will not stop talking about this breakup with her friends. And then they decide that it's too much and she needs to go and see a therapist. And they are not talking about it anymore. It's funny that this is the episode that we picked to watch, given that it's pretty much the only time where you ever really see therapy or counseling spoken about in that series. And it's talked about disparagingly.
We didn't pick it like on purpose. We weren't.
That's why I think it's funny that it's out of all of the 6 seasons, we're like, let's watch this episode. Okay. I think it's so that we could remind everybody that don't look to this show to give you opinions on therapy. Again, that probably had an impact on me.
But the therapist made a valid point that this is what I didn't get the first time or second time I watched this show. Like, her point really landed with me. It made me realize that, okay, so just for some context, the reason we watched this was because we were playing games on an episode, and I was saying to Natalie, I want to call it the episode Games People Play, because I was thinking of a Pusha T song, and Natalie said, I'm pretty sure that's the Sex and the City episode. And
look at our references. That tells you so much about the two of us.
Pusha T or Sex and the City. But it turns out the reason that both of those references, titles were even created was because it's a famous psychology book, which I had no idea about. I was like, oh, that's what everyone's talking about, which makes sense. And then I went on a rabbit hole about this book, and like, I'm gonna do it. Like, I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, is there a program?
There's a rip of the audio book on YouTube, which I can send to you, which I started listening to. But obviously for this episode I had to listen to the quick summary thing that they do. And it's called, I can't fucking remember. Relationship. I'll find it because I'm not gonna remember. Yeah. Can you fill what I find?
So is this so that we can decide, we can do the program to retrain our brains so that we don't play the same games and fall into the same habits with people? Okay.
It's a book by Eric Byrne from 1964.
Classic.
Yeah, it's I just couldn't believe how famous it was. I was like, I have never heard of this. It's a shock. I can't remember what they call it. Transactional analysis.
Okay.
So that's what is used today, transactional analysis. And to find out, I watched the videos, guys. I don't know from a 10-minute video.
It's basically about, she's not here to counsel
I'm not
you.
a trained psychologist, shock.
Yeah. Disclaimer. Much like you shouldn't go to Sex and the City for therapy and counseling advice, please don't come here either. But you know who you should go to? A therapist.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
But there's questions to see what games that you basically you pick a role for yourself and you play a game continuously, and you pick actors who will play the game with
Wait,
you.
do you play a game in real life or in hypothetically?
Humans are constantly playing games. Like
but is there consent involved with the other players in the game?
Neither party knows that they're playing a game.
No, but when you say you pick, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you meant that the actual program is right. Start here, pick a role, and then do it. Like, wait a second. It teaches you how to break bad behavior by doing bad behavior.
Like that. The analysis is to see what games you as an individual are playing.
Yeah.
And that's what the episode was about. She was discovering that she thought Big was playing a game, but she realized that she's also an actor in this game. What game is she playing? What role does she play? She's continuously picking the wrong men. And then I was like, this is how, guys, I'm sorry, I know not everyone believes in all this synergy and stuff, but it's so weird that this is the episode, this is the text, and I'm literally writing at the moment about lyrics about it's like 4 steps, and I'm talking about the 4 steps that I've recognized that I have, where I'll meet someone and we'll be cool, and then they'll pull away, and then I'll try and get more of them, then I'll try and change. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm constantly trying to adapt to this situation that doesn't suit me. And it's just so weird that this came up because I was struggling with it. And then the questions are like, which situations are happening to you over and over again? First, you have to identify that.
Yeah.
And I wrote, I try to be friends with people I'm sexually attracted to or who are sexually attracted to me. So basically it's like we've dated or had some sort of thing, decided that either I've decided I don't want to be with them, or we've decided that, or they've decided they don't want to be in a serious relationship.
Yeah.
Instead of just severing ties, first I'll walk away, then 10 minutes later I'll be like, okay, let's try it this way. And then it just goes on and on and on.
I do that dance as well, but then I get to a point where I have to cut ties, and then I cut people out.
And then that's where the question, it asks you, how does it start? What's the next thing that happens? How does it end? How do you feel? And how does the person playing the game feel?
I don't know, because I don't speak to them anymore.
But it's just, you're trying to identify that who you are and who they become. So to me, like, I sometimes make myself like the victim of that.
Oh, always.
Even though I knew
you're the perpetrator,
the whole time, and then they become like the villain to me, because it's just like, and then in them becoming the villain, I'm then projecting stuff that has happened to me years ago onto them from a way back relationship that I've never really gotten over.
Because you're also, I'm sure I've spoken about this with you, about something that's always stuck with me that my therapist has said that people, obviously it's this common thing, but me, I fall into this category as well, will repeat the same patterns of behavior, or repeat the same, or seek out the same types of relationships. And that doesn't mean that these people that I'm with are bad people, or even the same people necessarily. I just get myself in the same situation because I'm trying to right a past wrong. And obviously, it's like compound interest, isn't it? Every time you do it, you're just creating the same thing. So you're always trying to right that same wrong that you perceive was done to you. And maybe once upon a time it was, but then it over the years, because you're the one that's creating this this reality for yourself and these situations, and making people out to be the villain. So I don't want to bring it back to once upon a time, but I mean, here we are talking about villains, and
that show is the blueprint, honestly.
I'm now in season 4. Fucking Arendelle storylines come about.
Who's Arendelle? Is that?
No, that's the Frozen storyline when Anna and Elsa.
Hats off to them for writing that in there.
I remember when I watched the season finale of episode 3, when at the end, it like you just see this like Anna Elsa coming out of, well, you see something coming out of this urn that's spilt, and this liquid comes out, this icy liquid, and then you see something materialize, and you don't see the full body. You just see like a gorgeous blue gown, and then you see a hand that just goes like, and then some like ice. And I watched that and was like, oh my God, it's Elsa, because I just didn't think that they'd have the, because Frozen had come out not long before that, so I didn't think they'd have the audacity to fucking write Frozen into it, and they did. It was great.
That was a good move.
Yeah.
Shout out to the writers of Once Upon a Time.
Always. Seriously. Yeah, it's great. But it doesn't really have me thinking about heroes and villains and who I am in my own story. And who I relate to most. Regina.
Yeah.
I relate to Regina the most out of all the characters. A villain that is now trying to do good and be good, but never feels able to forgive herself or overcome the things that she's done.
Regina's relatable.
Yeah,
I
is.
also
and
relate
she's just
to,
the best.
This is going to sound so extra, but just because I'm obsessed with that storyline of how people's hearts turn black.
Yeah.
Gold for sure.
You relate to Gold.
Gold is a human for sure, but also Snow White, when she realizes her heart's turning black.
Right, because she killed Cora.
You think you're a hero for so long, and next thing you know, you're the villain.
Yeah.
Jay-Z has a lyric about that.
Yeah, what is it?
It says,
do you think it was inspired by Once Upon a Time?
100%. He says, die and become a hero, or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah.
That's a bar.
Yeah. Wow.
Look what we talk about. Like, back to the Pusha T Sex and the City thing. It's just like, we're now comparing Jay-Z lyrics to Once Upon a Time. Who else?
Yeah. What do you mean
really
comparing? We're directly saying one was inspired by the other.
It's not.
Yeah. So yeah, what else happens in this? So we've got the Carrie storyline where she finally what do you think about her friends saying, we're not talking about this anymore, go and see a therapist?
I thought that was a really good move. I've wanted to say that to people in the past, and I've not had the chops, because it's just like, no offense, but I have lots of problems and you have cash on you. It's not like I'm just saying that for context, so the listeners don't think I'm telling my friend who can't afford therapy to piss off. No, I just mean you have someone who keeps bringing a problem to you. It's just like, first of all, I'm not equipped to give you the solution, because I can tell by the repetitive nature of this problem that this is bigger than, if you can't accept that this is just how, because it's either two things. It's either that the world we live in is a bit messed up and sometimes these kind of things happen, or you're just refusing to break a cycle. And if that's what I see, that it's just like, you can't break a cycle, I know I'm not equipped to help you do that. And if I'm trying and you're not listening to me, that means you just want to vent. And it's just like, at a certain point, it's just like, I can't, like, I'm always happy to listen, but sometimes I feel, because I know listeners of this podcast will be like, you never stop talking, what are you talking about? But in real life, I have friends who come to me because I listen. Even though I'm laughing like, yeah, sure.
No, it's true. I'm one of them.
But you don't, maybe because, again, you firstly, you have your own, like, you've sought out therapy before, and also because you're the kind of person who doesn't want to be a burden even when you're not. Like, the most, you're just like, it's so, I find this always, though, it's always the people who are the most like considerate who think they're a burden. It's like, you have no idea what other people are like. They don't give a fuck.
Oh wow,
they really don't care what you're doing. They're like, I'm talking now.
Have a problem. Me, I do. I don't care about your yes, I can see your life is burning, but I don't care. You're like, wow, okay, cool, let me just.
Yeah, in that moment, I just didn't have the gall to say, I think you need to go. I've said it to friends before where I felt like, it's not to be nasty.
Be received, yeah.
Yeah, but I haven't always
that's
had
the thing.
that.
but if you know it's not going to be well received, then I think sometimes you have to think, what's your motivation for saying something to somebody? And even if it's something as helpful as, look, I really think you need to go and see a therapist, sometimes it's probably you're actually saying it out of like the motivation isn't really fully pure, if that
You're
makes
saying
sense.
it to make
It's a
them
little
feel
bit
like
out of malice. It's a bit like, not malice, but you know what, sometimes it's kind of like, well, is it, do you think it's going to make the situation better for them? Is it going to make it easier?
Yeah,
Are
but
they
it's
going to
like-
listen?
It's like
Or
what
are
my
you
dad
saying it
said.
because you want to be like,
Go and see
you're
a
angry
therapist,
with,
you are
yeah,
messed up.
exactly. Are you angry
Oh,
with that person
you're
and
right.
saying
I
something
have
out of
done that as
anger?
well. I have done that, but I really meant it both ways. I was
Well,
like, I can't live with you anymore. You are nuts. You're a therapist. I've said that. Like, seek help. I know it sounds really nasty, but it gets to a point, because like I know what I'm like. I know what I've been like when I haven't had any support. I've gone off. There is no one on this earth who could have helped me in that moment except for a professional.
yeah.
Like, you know what? Trust me, I tried all avenues.
That's usually the case, isn't it? You try all avenues, which usually means you try like at the bottom of a bottle, as Nickelback would say.
Shout
Or
out to Nickelback, man.
you would,
Some terrible
yeah,
songs.
thanks, Chad. You
It's
were
a great
yeah.
time.
Or you know, drugs as well. You'll try everything
Yeah.
before admitting and being like, oh no, wait, what I really need is to talk to a professional.
And you just, and sometimes it's not your fault, like you just didn't know. It's
And
like,
yeah, a lot of the time you have to go through those cycles to get to
Yeah.
that point. I wish that I
Yeah.
hadn't had to, but a lot of people do need to. So if you're one of those people, that's fine. Shout out to people that go and see therapists
what, straight away.
when they, yeah.
Hopefully it will become more quote unquote normalized, but also you have to live a significant amount of time before you can see your patterns, I think.
Yeah.
Because everything is always so like, everything's, when you're young, everything's always changing. Like you're going to a new uni, you're going here, you're going there, new job, da da da. So you can't quite clearly see, and then you get to a point where it's just like, you get to a point where you're just like, oh, I said that twice, I'm broken. No matter where you are, you're like, oh, it's the same shit, and I'm doing the same shit because I haven't dealt with mine. Woo!
So
This isn't supposed to be a deep episode. This was supposed to
we
be
watched
fun.
Sex and the City, guys. Come on, it was supposed to be silly and lighthearted and frothy.
I know.
So
which kind of makes me think it was a really good episode if it made me like really think about my behavior. I've never thought about that before. It was weird how they made the therapist trendy. I was like, can you just not? Gwyneth Paltrow goes. I'm like, I hate you guys.
Yeah, but it's of course Stanford's gonna say that. Do you know what I hated? Yeah, love Stanford. I hated the room, the therapy room, that circular room. To me, it felt like a dungeon.
I quite like a circular room, I can't lie.
That was small, like that was too small and circular, so it felt like it was a tower. I've obviously been watching too much Once Upon a Time, but that felt like it. But I didn't like it. It just felt like it was. It's quite sinister. Like there's no escape.
Yeah.
This time around, Once Upon a Time, we're like, let's just reuse old sets. Once Upon a Time, I'm sorry, I know this isn't a Once Upon a Time episode, but whatever. They use a hell of a lot of green screen for like castle scenes. You can tell.
I love it.
But
I like that you can tell.
I think you have to be able to tell. Do you know? I think that was part of the quote unquote charm. Yeah, the magic, that it just looked fake as hell. Anyway, so Carrie's gone to see a therapist, and to be honest, she should thank her lucky stars that she managed to get an appointment so fucking soon that she can afford it, and then she can go to see a therapist that is obviously quite in demand. So I'd be a bit more grateful.
Jovi is really attractive. I just
so attractive.
So why doesn't he ever look that attractive any other time? I was looking at him like, God, you're gorgeous. I don't find you attractive normally.
I don't know.
I like their music though. The songs I know. Am I thinking of Aerosmith? No, I'm not,
No.
I'm not. I do like Aerosmith. Other songs
Yeah,
I know
that's
again.
also good. that one, what's it called song? Armageddon song.
I was thinking of I've forgotten immediately. Who's Crazy? Crazy's Aerosmith. Or Bon Jovi. No,
How does
Crazy
it go?
Crazy. This is not how it goes.
Okay. Maybe I need to listen to it off air.
It's a really good song.
Okay. Bon Jovi's
it's
Living on a
Aerosmith.
Prayer.
Love that song.
Love it, banger. Absolutely
We
slaps.
do have to hold on to what we've got. It doesn't matter if we make it or not. We've got each other, and that's a lot. Honey, if a man says that to me, I'm leaving. I'm like, I'm absolutely not doing this.
I'm like, you think this is a lot?
And also, like, I'm putting in more than you are always. So, like, stop lying to me.
Yeah, you know what's a lot? A Fendi handbag. But it I think it's also like a bit weird how this, like, Carrie and Bon Jovi, like, he on the third time, so the second time she goes, she sees him coming out and they share an awkward like hello, and then the third time she's all dressed up. I loved that dress, it was gorgeous, she looked great, and then he's like, hey,
how to lose the guy
do you
in
want
10
to
days.
what, the dress?
Yeah.
Who's wearing that dress?
What was her name in that film?
Michelle?
Kate Hudson.
Oh my god, once again I heard How to Get Away with Murder. Who is that?
I was actually thinking about that today. Viola Davis' performance. It's just, I was literally standing in my kitchen thinking about how good Viola Davis is in that show.
Absolutely brilliant. Phenomenal. In every show, to be honest.
Yeah.
And in life as well. I think she'd just be so cool and lovely to hang out with.
And so I feel like after you've spent an hour with her, your whole perspective would have shifted.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Energized.
To Viola Davis.
Look, Viola Davis, you are under no obligation to give us.
Life.
Yeah, so you already have with your performances. What I was gonna say is just how Bon Jovi's like, hey, would you like to have dinner with me sometime? I'm like, you have met this person once. It's just like,
looks like Bon Jovi, so he's fine.
Sure, but imagine like maybe this is probably just me, and it's not. Obviously, it's not a reflection of everybody in the world, but I need a bit more than just that to agree to go for dinner with somebody.
You're a goddamn liar. Okay, imagine if you see a guy once and you're like extremely attracted to him to the point where you go somewhere early so you can bump into him again, and then he asks you out. You'll say no.
Well, I maybe just, but I don't know. I think I'd maybe be a bit more coy. I don't know.
Honey, you went there early. You have to say yes at this point.
Yeah, true. You went there early and you bought a new dress.
Yeah, I'm saying yes. I'm not wasting. And then you're like, no.
But I think
so ridiculous.
Right like now, I feel like we just need so much more out of
because now they probably get your number and then you'd waste like a few weeks texting.
Like, yeah, he'd text you once, and then actually, you know what I thought was really true to life then and now, when they did, because it was back in the early seasons where they still did those VTs with random people on the street. And the guy was like, I had a really great time with this girl on like Friday night. It went really well, so I didn't message her for 3 days, and then it cut to who we presume is the person that he went on a date with, and he's like, had a great time, thought it was going great. The asshole didn't message me for 3 days. I screened his call and waited till Friday. And you're like, Jesus, that is the games we play.
It is.
But if I like somebody, then I'll probably just message them almost straight away and then feel like, oh crap, I'm being
It
too
doesn't
eager,
matter
but then
how
I'm
you
like,
feel.
I
You
just
have
can't be
to
bothered.
be, if you are an eager person, you always have to be eager. You have to be yourself, because eventually you'll find somebody who likes that. Well, that's what they tell you.
Wow.
But either way, like, you don't want to get stuck with someone you're not into. I'm
That would
still
never
thinking
happen.
about, that's quite real.
What?
What?
What's real?
I'm like, huh?
Huh?
That would never happen. Like,
No, I would never get stuck with
Yeah.
somebody that I didn't that I wasn't into.
neither would I.
It would just never happen to me.
It has happened. I get really like, I don't know why I do it. I think it's taken me a long time to realize that you don't have to stay with someone.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm. So Carrie and this guy go on a few dates. They end up sleeping together, and then she realizes, well, I mean, surely maybe this should have
It
come
was
up
funny when
first. That was that penny drop moment when I can't. Props to him for being so honest.
They're always honest.
Oh yeah, 3 dates in after you've had sex, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm in therapy because I lose interest with women as soon as I've slept with them." I'm like, wow. You're saying that to somebody moments after a climax, and you're naked in bed together.
That's very realistic to me.
Yeah. And then Carrie's like, well, I picked the wrong man.
But also, like, somebody has asked me, like, before, why I'm speaking to a therapist in a date situation, and I didn't like it. I was just like, mind your own business, mind your own goddamn business.
Yeah, I think it would be odd if it in the situation they were in, though, they've met at their therapist's office.
Yeah,
that's just like, you've already broken fucking protocol here. This isn't what Dr. G would be fucking furious. This is not allowed.
I also didn't realize that would, I just thought, like, who cares? But now I'm like, no, that's probably not a great place to meet someone. Maybe I need to, I don't believe that, because you can meet anybody anywhere.
Which is not for me. When I came out of therapy, that would have not been the time to catch me to go on a date. I'm usually coming out crying or about to cry. It's just a lot. You've just like a lot of turmoil's gone on. It's not the time to be approaching me.
That's fair.
Or I'm very vulnerable, so if it would be potentially a taking advantage.
That's time. I know, if you do want to take advantage of me, catch me after therapy.
I mean, if you look like Bon Jovi, I was gonna say Jon Bon.
Like, is he, or I don't remember ever seeing him and thinking he's good looking. No shade to Bon Jovi, but I think that
we're just older now, and it's been a long year.
Oh my god, everyone looks good. I was flirting with someone's dad the other day.
What?
Like, this man was like cycling with his daughter, and like,
I
was like, oh, sorry, like, oh no, he said, oh, thank you, because I waited for him to go on his bike, and I was like, no worries, like putting a bit too much on it, and then his daughter came, and I was like, ugh, go away.
Is this what you call flirting?
Yeah, that is not what I call flirting.
Just being like, no worries. Viewers, I'm flashing, which you shouldn't do to people because that's non-consensual.
It is non-consensual, don't do it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Shout out to Miranda.
A guy I like, though.
Yeah, I know.
Or just a person whose company I enjoy.
Just
so hard to find. Like anyone. Can anybody find
somebody?
That song is, I take that song personally offensive, because Freddie Mercury had no problems finding somebody to love. He didn't. He did not. He's a liar. He's like not texting 9 people back like, can anybody find me someone to love?
Yeah, but also, I mean, let's not read too much. Let's not go too deep into this, but we could. I think it's like that his when was Queen prolific? I mean, it was a time when it wasn't it was openly difficult to be gay if like in mainstream life.
Yeah, but
so I think it probably
found someone to love, is what I'm
saying.
But
to like love him, or just to love him for a night.
To love him. I genuinely feel like.
But do you think is that like fanatical love, or is that I love you for you?
love you for you. Honestly, there are certain people who, if Beyonce turned to me and said, I can't find anyone to love, I would tell her to go to hell. I'm sorry, I would.
You're like,
I know
you, Beyonce, are telling me, Ruth, that you can't find somebody to love. Go fuck yourself.
I know that's ridiculous because we're
no,
all
no, I
human.
get it. Yeah, I'd be personally
We are
offended
all
too.
human, and we all struggle to find someone we are compatible with because everyone is just a normal person deep down. But there are certain people like Freddie Mercury. I'm just like looking at him like, sure. Like, whatever. You are an absolute babe, and you are
super talented.
notorious.
Yeah.
Yeah, like everyone loves. I find it hard to believe. Speaking of babes, did you see Lil Nas
Pig in the
Lil Nas
City?
X's,
Okay, no.
bless that pig.
Shout out to you, babe.
Shout out to babe.
Yeah.
I've been having a bit of a Lil Nas X week because he had a new song and I listened to it and I cried, which should tell the viewers where I am. They've heard the song and be like, okay.
Yeah.
But like,
is this where I should say, listen, I'm cutting you off. You need to talk to somebody.
No, my therapist's last day is today, so she's gone.
Oh no. Okay.
No, I'm fine.
Shout out
totally
to her.
Fine. I don't know what you're doing.
It's cool.
No, I'm all right. I actually feel all right, and I was thinking and reflecting, and I was trying to think like I stuck with it for over a year. Like I may not have been great towards the end, but like I did something for myself.
Yeah,
do I need a lot more?
Super proud.
100%. And even just, I shouldn't say this because I don't want to encourage people, because I hate when people make something and then say that's my therapy, because it's not therapy. Nothing is like therapy. Therapy is therapy for a reason. Like nothing is like going to the doctor. I googled my symptoms and I took supplements. That's like not like going to the doctor.
I made a pot. I made a vase. That's cured. Sorry, shout out to all the ceramicists out there. I'm sure it is very therapeutic.
Yeah,
but it's not the same.
You still do have to have therapeutic activities anyway, but like listening back to my music, I was just like, oh my god, I can see a pattern here. Like it's so embarrassingly obvious.
That's okay.
And I can't wait to do it again.
Oh,
joking.
Yeah. I can't wait to fall back into all my bad habits.
And I miss my bad habits. Maxwell has a song called Bad Habits. It's one of my favorite songs ever.
Do you mean as bad habits code for people? Individual people?
No,
is that what you call them?
My
like
favorite bad
days
habit.
And booze.
I've got two favorite bad habits. One is, you know what one is. And the other one I can't speak to. Blocked on all platforms.
Oh, right. Not for the other reason.
No.
You can't speak to somebody.
Why do we find that funny? Natalie, I'm
funny.
balding.
Yeah, Ruth, you're not balding.
No, I am. I'm balding. I am.
Let the records show balding. Ruth is coming closer to the camera so that I can see that she's not balding.
Do you see how thin all of the hair is here? I'm balding.
Yes, but it's not.
I know it looks like it's just like my hair is growing onto my forehead, and if I got a haircut I'd realize that I'm not balding. I thought I convinced myself of that I am going bald, but that's part of the aging process. Will I get a hair transplant? Absolutely.
There's at least we've got wigs, we've got loads of stuff now. Some people go bald, some people go grey. I don't know what to.
Yeah, I mean Jada Pinkett Smith made it cool, so
yeah. Where do we go from here? Let's go back to Manhattan.
Samantha.
Now let's talk about. Oh yeah, I was going to say Miranda, but let's go on. Let's talk about. Let's talk about.
Oh,
Miranda in an excruciating fashion.
So embarrassing, but so funny.
But Miranda again in this is who I identify with in this episode. I guess a bit of Carrie, but that was me when I was maybe younger or post. I don't know. Now I'm like, oh, so who do I identify with? The woman that works all the time, that is drinking wine, home alone, and she's playing solitaire. And she's flirting with the person that lives across the way, except I wouldn't have that flirtation with the person that lives across the way. But the rest of it, I was
wouldn't
like,
have the confidence to think that it was me.
not at all. And if I would probably be like, this is, I wouldn't be flirting back.
Yeah, I would flirt back, but I'm the kind of person, if someone waves now, not before. When I was younger, I was smoking hot and I didn't care. I'm sorry, viewers, I'm not taking it back. I was, and that was my experience.
Yeah.
Now, if they're waving at me, I'm looking around and I'm making sure that they're definitely waving at me before I embarrass myself. Because
I'm probably not even going to do that. I'm just going to assume that they're not waving at me, and I'm going to walk along because they're not waving at me.
Oh God. I related to Charlotte's delusional thinking that the person when she was like,
games are empowering.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, you're so relatable to me right now. Just a really childlike view of the world and just talking absolute nonsense.
Childlike and also toxic. This is not a healthy Charlotte.
Immature and toxic.
Yeah.
My brand.
If you know the rules and you can totally play to get what you want.
I always think I'm a Mac. I think I'm the player. It takes me so long. I still won't ever concede I've been played. I'll say I've been hurt, but I've never been played. I'm a player with feelings. Oh God.
I relate to thinking that in that sense that you're the player at the beginning and you're all cocky and you're like, yeah, fine, I have all the cards. Go sleep with who you want. But in your head, you're like, I'm never sleeping with anybody apart from me. That's how amazing I am. And then suddenly they're not, and you're like,
this isn't how I saw this going.
It's backfired. Maybe I'm not shit hot.
Or maybe I can't tell people to go away relentlessly and they'll actually stay.
You can't say go away in like a coy, seductive way and expect people to just be like, no, I'm staying. Yeah, and like, you can. I don't care if you leave or if you go or if you sleep with somebody else. Expect people to
give a fuck. Yes, I do.
Okay. Yeah.
3 days later, it takes me so long as well. Maybe not 3 days, maybe like 4 weeks later. I'm like, what happened to? And then I'm crying.
4 weeks. Come on, if that
2 to 4 weeks. It depends who it is.
Yeah, a week you're like, this is a bit weird, but okay, maybe like it's fine. I still have all the power. 2 weeks, it's like, oh shit, but I'm not messaging them. 3 weeks, you're like, well, actually, it's not a 3-week process for me, but for this game, we'll play that. That's when you realize
I'm playing my game. I'm still delusional. I'm a player. No,
I
you're
don't.
Not.
But there is a moment when you realize that you were playing different games.
Yeah, and then sometimes it's just like I wasn't playing a game. I was being truthful, but they just like don't have the patience for it.
But then that's where you play the game in your head where you're like, but I was being truthful and they just walked away and they couldn't handle it, and then that becomes the victim game. That you just it's like a solitaire game. You play it with yourself.
I will take my headphones off. I do not need this. I did not come here for this.
Well, we should have watched something else.
That's me playing a game with you where I'm just like, no, you can't. It's like One Division. I'm like, stop telling me the truth. I'm sending the beekeeper back down. Get out.
I've got to say, with Miranda's situation, when she goes, firstly, what is that supermarket? Because Tesco's and Sainsbury's don't even look like that. What was it?
It looks German. You know, when you go to the German supermarkets or corner stores, they all look like that. Or is it just me? But
it just looked like a fancy organic Whole Foodsy kind of shop. It didn't look like you just don't get. It's not like a supermarket like in this country.
They have them in Hackney. There's like these places where it's like
a fruit and veg shop, like
foods, and then like all Whole Foods.
Yeah, no, we've got one as well. I know the kind you mean, but it's just when she says like, when I have to get food, you're imagining like when we go to get like to fucking Tesco
They
with
are
the bright like
absolutely not gonna
clinical
show
lights. But yeah, then like, that's not how I go and get food. That's when I'm thinking, oh, I'll go somewhere, you know, I'll treat myself and go somewhere nice.
It's a treat. It's definitely a treat because it costs a fortune. Like you bought
Yeah.
like 3 apples and some cereal and you spent
You
£9.
spent 50 quid. Yeah,
You're like,
it would have been cheaper to go out for dinner, Miranda. Now you got to cook
Where
that
is
shit
Aldi?
yourself.
Honestly.
Jesus. Would you have, in that situation, do you think you would have gone over to speak to the person say not necessarily
okay.
in that like exact
I would
same
have,
situation?
I would have.
Okay, don't even need to come up with a hypothetical. You would like, yeah.
No, I would have. I've gone over to people and been rejected and stuff. That's why I get really resentful when people are like, you know, when they're having these typical like quote unquote like man conversations, they're like, women don't even know what it's like to approach and have that constant feeling of rejection. I'm like, honey, I've been rejected so many times, I'm still cringing about it. Like,
also, don't fucking give me that shit. There's a lot of other things that women don't know anything about because you men have been hogging all the good stuff for this longest time.
Give me my money, sir.
Yeah, don't. If that is the worst thing that you have to contend with, then you can.
Rejection is hard.
Kindly, of course, it's hard. But is if that women don't also face rejection simply because they don't go up and speak to people, which isn't true anyway.
I had a guy block me on WhatsApp this week or 2 weeks ago, but I didn't realize he'd done it until this week because I said I didn't want to have a threesome with him.
That's fair to say that. Weird to block somebody for it.
I did say not interested twice. I was like, not interested. And then he sent me a really long message. Is that Brady?
No, I've just noticed.
Is it a ghost?
No, it's a caterpillar. I think it's a caterpillar.
I haven't seen a caterpillar in so long. Is it chilling on a leaf?
It's on a flower that I brought in from the garden.
That's where they hide. That is where they hide. And then they crawl out like, oh, where am I?
What's this? This isn't outside. Ah, it's very warm in here.
Imagine if they're like, where's my family?
No. Sometimes I think that though, you know, when you like save a bug and then you put it somewhere else and they're like, oh no, it's like in a Bug's Life or Ants or something where suddenly you just like, because it must be. But then is it really that far for them to get from one end of the garden to the other? Like they make out?
Sometimes, like when it's raining and stuff. I find out.
But they live outside.
That's spiders out.
Oh yeah, that's.
Because
the spiders, when you throw them outside of the house, they're like, but I don't live outside. I live inside.
Yeah, first of all, I just made a new nest and you're just tossing me out.
You're responsible for orphaning my babies. My 10,000 spider babies.
I used to kill insects like in a really sick way, and I kind of feel like with hairspray.
Oh my God.
I once took a picture of a moth I killed with hairspray and posted it on Facebook. What is wrong with me? I still get embarrassed by it. I'm just like, it looked really beautiful because obviously moths have all the dust on them. Sorry, I'm like this. I know.
Murder can be beautiful.
I mean, that's what Dexter taught us, right?
Oh, I never watched it, but I guess.
Thank God. It was, they're bringing it back. My sister's really excited, but I never got super into it.
Mm-hmm.
He basically was living my murder fantasy, but makes me realize that is not okay, which is probably why I don't actually do it.
But then I suppose that's why they create shows like that, so we can maybe live vicariously or have. Yeah, but so we don't.
The idea of the white man getting to do that is just like,
maybe recast.
Yeah, they won't. Dexter is actually a woman.
Dexter.
That made me think of the Dixie Chicks. Why are they called the Dixie Chicks? I still need to know.
It's country.
It is country as hell.
Yeah.
They don't look that country to me. No shade to them.
But they're like pop country or pop rock country?
They look a bit posh.
I don't know.
But then again, they're really super rich. Sorry, what are we supposed to be talking about?
Should we talk about Samantha?
Samantha's guy. Okay, I'm looking at the Dixie Chicks now. I don't know who I thought they were, but
Not
they
these.
just, yeah, they look like Southern American Christians.
Yeah, so a lot of country music.
Yeah.
Most country.
I have to send you this picture. These hairstyles are wild. Sorry, Samantha. Her guy was cute and problematic as hell. That intro was wild. Samantha said something that made me laugh though. The crazy ones have the best drugs.
The best of the drugs,
Bill.
yeah. Oh, the crazy ones
That
have the
was
best bill. Was like,
that was hilarious. That reminded me of something like Sabina would say. We're supposed to stop saying people's names. I say we,
Yeah.
it's only me that ever does it.
yeah, I'm like, don't drag me down with you. I'm sometimes too afraid to say our own names.
I'm out here dropping.
I'm like, am I allowed to say, okay, like, can I say your name? Even when you just said it. Yeah, so Samantha's guy was, yeah. No.
Also, always relate to Samantha because I'm always trying to get it in with the guy who is
trying to keep the cost of foreign labor down. That was you could like, and it's the way that it's written into it so flippantly and casually.
But that guy is it's
but
very
that's
honest
who he
in
is,
that. Yeah, but it's just like, oh yeah, that was a mess. But we've all been there, pretending to like getting into sports for some ridiculous reason.
Yeah,
I'm like
ridiculous reason. Dick.
I like football.
But there must have been something that you feigned an interest in, or just, I mean, everything. Surely, like when you're on a date with somebody, a lot of the time you're feigning. Well, feigning's a bit rude. Not rude. That's not the right word. Is a bit extreme. It's not feigning interest. But you are acting interested in, not acting. Oh God, I'm not explaining myself very well.
No, you're right though.
But you're kind of you're talking about, and you're asking a person about their life and about their question, about their interest in their job and things like that. That at the time you care about because you want to know more about them, but you don't really care about these things.
There are so many like artists, both like in terms of people who work with like, let's say, mixed media and musicians that I only know about because some person I just had to have them. So now I'm like, yeah. But sometimes it could be helpful, like if they introduce you to like, I'm trying to think of all the good things I've been introduced to. The show with Rayland Gibbons in, where he's like a cowboy detective. He's so hot. Justified.
He's very attractive. That's so funny. I only know that show through somebody I slept with.
That's what I'm saying, because it's like a typical like we are not watching Justified.
No, I'm not watching it. I think I came went back to the guy's house and like his flatmate was watching it, and then we were all like watching it together, and it's just so weird because you're like, why am I watching this show with like a guy that I've been on a date with that I'm obviously going to sleep with tonight, and his flatmate who I've never met, who I now am like having to talk about and like laugh along with because you want to be the person that you know, the next day the flatmates are like, she was cool. What?
Oh my God, I'm never that girl. I'm always the really quiet, awkward, like, oh, this is going to end into this person.
I don't want to be like the quiet person. I'm always going to have to be trying to say stuff or whatever. But then after, when his friend went to, I think when his friend was like, okay, I'm going to go to bed now. And you're like, well, you wouldn't be going to bed, would you, normally? But fine, cool. Then me and the guy watched Adventure Time, and he introduced me to Adventure Time, and that summer I was obsessed with Adventure Time. Obsessed with it, yeah. It was the summer of 2015.
I need to finish it. It's a good show.
Yeah.
There's a film coming out.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah.
Maybe we should.
My little brother who always loved that show. That's why I know that.
Maybe we should do an Adventure Time episode.
I would love to. Honestly, there is. I can already think of an episode. There's like this 2 or is it 3-part special, which I won't, no spoilers, but I've watched 2. It's phenomenal. It's almost like when have you ever seen when South Park? I'm not as on board as everyone else. I have real mixed reviews of South Park. But when they did the superhero specials, the 2-part special, when Cartman was Batman, I know I sound crazy because it sounds like it's phenomenal television. It's so good. So good.
Listeners, never let it be said that this podcast is about hyperbole.
No, but if you've seen it, you'll agree because it's that good. Like sometimes I'm just like, it's like the writers of these shows, it's just like they pedal in the shallow end so much that when they just really dive in, you're just like, where did that come from? Or maybe it's just me at the time. I don't know.
Could be.
Yeah.
Maybe Adventure Time for me was a time and space thing, and if I watched it back, I'd be like,
it is a
this
really
is good
show.
But it wasn't. I was obsessed with it.
That's that thing that actually pissed me off, because a lot of people were obsessed with it and it became like a hype thing, and it upset me because I'm like, it's just a good cartoon, just let it be a good cartoon. Because I remember I was speaking to this guy who obviously I liked at the time, and he was just like, you still watch that? That was just like a thing. And I was like, no, hype beast, it wasn't just a thing. In your world it was just a thing. For me, it's a genuinely good show. I like Cartoon Network. Don't piss me off. It is a great station.
Look, I never had ready access to it, as you well know. So
then we should do some classic Cartoon Network shows so you can have it. You've watched the Powerpuff Girls, I'm sure, by now.
Yeah.
Fighting crime, trying. Sorry, stop it. Wow. Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you've seen the classics.
No, I do know like pretty much all of them. I just never watched them religiously. I could only watch them when they were on like CITV, and I was never really allowed to watch kids' breakfast TV or like Saturday morning TV.
That's the only time I liked Ant and Dec, when they did that show with Captain Lee.
Yeah, SMTV Live.
Yeah, that was a really good show.
Yeah, and then CD UK.
It's been downhill from there for them. I'm sure everyone else will disagree, but that's
it's just been I'm a Celebrity from there. They have milked that cow.
They're not bad on that. I don't like them on.
But the premise of the show is just not good. It's horrible. Being tortured, eating gross things, eating gross live things. That's animal torture. It's animal torture just a lot of the time in general, don't you think? It's just subjugation, and it's just gross. I don't like it at all. It's not for me.
I've never really watched it, to be honest. Maybe that's the issue. But the idea of eating brown rice for a couple of weeks really appeals to me. Brown rice and beans.
But that's not all you're eating.
Oh, you have to eat the slugs and stuff. I've seen it where they have rats running over them, and that's a big no-no for me, because I have like a irrational fear of being covered. Even if it was squirrels, I don't want that kind of animal on me. I'm trying to think of what. I don't want to call them that.
Why?
It feels very
derogatory.
It feels like I'm being really bitchy towards them. Rodents.
Exactly what they are. That's probably how they think about us, humans.
Humans is
a sapiens.
Great word.
Gross.
I was going to say dope. Where did I get the word dope from? What have I been watching? Powerpuff.
Grownish, I would assume.
I finished season 3. Best season. Damn it.
So I think I can safely say that I'm not tempted to go back and start watching Sex and the City after that taster. I'll go in. I would happily do another episode. I think that could be fun later on down the line. Sure. But I'm not chomping at the bit to.
I was just surprised at how differently it made me feel this time. Like how I saw my own terrible behavior. I'm a nightmare.
Who do you think of? Oh, actually, we can do the reboot, not the reboot, the next season 7, I guess it would be.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I can see it working without Samantha.
It could, yeah. I mean, it could work without any of them, don't you think?
Yeah, that none of them need to come back.
I read somewhere that they're introducing
Issa Rae.
Are they?
No, I just want her to, want her to take over Sex and the City. That's my dream.
No, that they are introducing a non-binary character.
Okay.
That's all I've read so far of the confirmed things.
Imagine if there was a spin-off show where Carrie,
yes,
Issa, and
Issa from Insecure, or Issa
Issa as her character.
Yeah.
And what's Lena Dunham's character called? Hannah all work in the same office.
That would be a hot mess.
I would love that. I would fucking love that show.
Oh yeah.
God. I want everyone to be on their worst behaviour.
Oh, actually, I remember that's something else that I read. Patricia Field is not coming back for the reboot because that's Brody. Oh, the stylist. Brody. Brody's not doing.
That's my friend Bill. They like.
I can confirm Brody will not be featured. He will not be the cat in the reboot of Sex and the City. They would not pay him enough. No, Patricia Field is the was the stylist.
Okay.
And the reason she's not coming back to for season whatever it is because she's doing season 2 of Emily in Paris.
What is this show?
Oh no, don't. I when it first came on Netflix was really ramming it down my throat. You know how the algorithm does, and I just refused to watch it. And then it made me even more annoyed when was it a Golden Globe or an Emmy that it watched instead of Insecure, and you're just like, annoyed's not the right word, because it was predictable, but it was just
nominate
stupid.
I May Destroy You.
Yeah, that anything. That's nuts. Show at the
time when that came out, we were fucking blown out of the water.
That really blew my mind.
That show is
because it was a reflective. Yeah.
It was so real, so well written. There's only one mistake, but we talked about it before. I won't dwell on it. And I just thought that final episode, the way they dealt with the idea of just repetitive thoughts until something goes away, was just unmatched. Oh my God, shout out to that show.
Shout out to Michaela Cole. I mean,
go to hell.
Literally.
No, only because I'm just like, why is everyone always talking about this show? What is this? And no one's ever saying anything positive. So I'm like, so why do we have to talk about it all the time if it's a terrible show? Unless it's a good show. Is it like the Macklemore album?
Can't imagine that it would be good, because I've also only heard that it's just vacuous nonsense and not in the good way.
What's it even about? A girl called Emily literally goes to Paris
to work in fashion.
Okay, that's cute. So it's like Princess Diaries but fashion.
Yeah. Okay. Or Devil Wears Prada but Paris.
It's not, I don't know. Devil Wears Prada, which is an overrated film. Wow, I said it. Oof.
You did say
it. It is.
Come on, it was for the time, for our time that we were in.
No. Yes, Meryl Streep's performance was good. Yes, whoever that was who plays the art director, was it creative director or art director?
Stanley Tucci.
Phenomenal.
Brilliant.
Best character in the whole thing.
Of course he is. Emily Blunt, also great.
Take it or leave it.
Come on.
Swear to God.
Anne Hathaway.
Emily Blunt. No, she was good.
Exactly. Your Anne Hathaway is who you can take it or leave.
Yeah. Just not Anne Hathaway in real life. I mean, just her character.
Andy, whatever.
Andy,
yeah.
It's a nice film. It's just it didn't hit like all the other like rom-coms that I love and that kind of genre. It just didn't.
Well, because also the guy, Adrian Grenier, whatever he's called, he's also he's touted as being one of the most terrible boyfriends in the history of rom-coms.
Yeah, but even that, like, I just
I'm like, is it
in their relationships? I don't care what they do because it's just overrated. And the only reason
they are no Andy Anderson and Benjamin Barry.
They're not. They are not.
Let's be clear.
They are not. They could never.
Yeah. You are not the how-to girl, Andy Dowell. You are not Andy Anderson. Andy Dowell? Is it Andy? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Whatever.
For me, it was just like, why? The only reason people like this show is because it's set in fashion, because it's just, and people are obsessed with like the idea of a cruel fashion boss.
Yeah.
Hate it. Take it or leave it. It's a shit film, man. I'm sorry I said it. It's a shit film. It's not a shit film. It's a 6 out of 10.
Sure.
And that's not a good score. I'd rather watch Greenwich.
What did you say you'd rather watch before?
Than
Devil
Emily in Paris.
No.
I'd rather watch Ugly Betty.
Oh yeah.
Ugly Betty for me exhausted that. Like, I'm done. And it's more fun and it's more ridiculous. So it's like funny.
It did get ridiculous.
It's the most ridiculous show from the jump. It doesn't
just from the jump, it gets crazy and crazier.
I love that show. But I think it's because Wilhelmina Slater is just that girl for me. I love her. Love her so much. What did she say? I'd rather be disliked than inconvenienced. I was like, that is something my sister would actually say. I relate to this character. Loved it. Loved Mark. Loved
he was great.
Family.
Yeah.
It was just a superior show.
Oh my God, I forgot that Octavia Spencer's in it.
As Wilhelmina's mother?
No. Is she not Ignacio's
Who's
immigration officer?
Is Wilhelmina's mom?
It's not Cecily I want to say Cecily Tyson. You mean the same mom as Annalise Keating?
No.
Okay, fine. Who?
As different Shondaland, as, how am I forgetting her name? Liv.
Oh, right. Yeah, Scandal. A scandal. Possibly. What are you looking at?
I'm trying to find who her mum was. No, her mum was never introduced.
Yeah, I don't really remember any Wilhelmina backstory.
Victoria Smith Slater, her mum had died. Anyway, sorry for getting sucked into that. Octavia Spencer was in Ugly Betty.
Wait, but tell me I'm wrong or tell me I'm right. Just tell me either way.
That's impossible.
Well, who was? I'm sure that. Yeah, right. She's the immigration officer, and then she is like dupes Ignacio into being her boyfriend. Am I wrong?
You must be right. I can't believe this.
You've even rewatched it. I've only done it the first time round.
That's nuts. Octavia Spencer has been in
everything. Another brilliant actor. Yeah. Oh my God, I love her so much.
Like...
If I met her in real life, again, that in a different way to Viola Davis, but I think I would just say you would laugh and you would giggle, you just have the best time and you'd just come out of it feeling nourished.
Yeah, Octavia Spencer is also that girl.
Yeah. She was a little intense in Ugly Betty.
I can't believe she played a nutcase in Ugly Betty.
Okay, that's putting it. I was trying to be delicate.
Adele was in Ugly Betty.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
As Adele, presumably.
I just don't
No.
remember it. Naomi Campbell was in it.
Congratulations, Naomi, as well.
I remember
Side note.
Lucy Liu being in it. I remember Salma Hayek. That woman is so goddamn sexy. Yeah,
Stunning.
Adele played in season 3 in The Stars. She performed at Daniel and Molly's wedding.
I can't
Daniel
remember who Molly
was-
is. Daniel's a hot mess. He desperately
is.
needed to see
Carrie's therapist.
Yeah,
Him and Carrie would have been such a perfect couple.
that would have been a nightmare.
But they would have ended up making it down the aisle.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Victoria Beckham was in it.
Yeah,
She's a terrible actor. Betty White was in it.
Adriana
Oh my God,
Lima was in it. They had
they had a
big
lot of
hitters,
models.
Yeah.
I forgot the guy who does the who's like the correspondent at all the fashion shows.
Yeah.
He is hilarious.
He's so good.
Underrated show. I don't care if its script makes zero sense. That is an underrated show. I'd
lot
rather watch that than... We have not talked about Sex and the City.
Well, there's just not much to say.
Yeah, it was only a half an hour episode. And we've said
Barely. It was 20 minutes. Forgot that they were so short. Yeah, it's 21 minutes. It's basically a sitcom.
Okay. I like shows that are short, actually, in retrospect.
Me too, but in that amount of time, there wasn't an only one episode. There's not a whole amount that we can
get into.
Yeah, apart from everybody, they're all just...
Can I be really problematic, and can we do this?
Always.
Am I developing a stammer?
Brody's about to knock something off the table. Thank you very much, Brody.
Brody doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. He's like, and that is why I won't be returning. The reboot of Sex and the City, bitch. What do you want? You're about to be really problematic.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you, which situations are happening to you over and over again?
Okay, go on. Is it a multiple choice?
No, you just have to tell me. Think of something that's happening to you, a situation that's happening to you over and over again. Don't worry that it's me. This is a safe space, and I will not hold it against you. God, that sounds so menacing. It was supposed to be comforting.
No, it's fine. So situations that happen over and over again, and this is probably a lot of people, but I getting too drunk. It's not obviously happened that much this year because I haven't seen anybody, and B, I had a whole 4 months of not drinking. And almost 4 months. But then so I met up with some friends for somebody's leaving drinks, and I think it's as well, it's I'm not going to get too hard on myself because it's indicative of when you see people, everyone's really excited. You haven't seen people for a while, you haven't been out, but I think I'm using these as excuses, and I think the pattern is not being able to do things in moderation. So not being able to say no, really, and not having willpower to just be like, don't need to drink this round.
Okay, that's understandable. There's a lot of,
so I'm very all or nothing.
Pressure to drink in this country. Well, it's not just this country, but it felt, because I went out for the first time this week as well, and there is pressure to drink for sure.
Yeah, we don't really do stuff that's non-drinky.
And
it isn't that, which is why I find it so weird when I'm watching shows like this, being like, why is no one wasted all the time? And it's like, why is your go-to that you're concerned that people aren't drunk? It's because they're not drinking a bottle and a half of wine over multiple rounds. That's why.
You're right, because it kind of sets a false, because you can drink and just have a little and then go home, but it's just And it is a very English like binge culture thing that
Mhm.
we drink to get drunk, but it's also like, are they glamorizing it and making it seem like alcohol is just like water, like you can just have a little and leave,
I think that's
when actually
or that you don't, it's not have a little and leave, it's just you always have a drink and you're there for ages, but you're not wasted, and you seem to be drinking different drinks loads of times, but it's not affecting you.
yeah.
So it glamorizes that, and like everybody being like not messy or not even slurring the words or not even being affected by things slightly, which I find does annoy me actually, because that's not realistic. If somebody's, you know, if they're gonna just have one drink like a cocktail and you know that they're just one of those people that can do that, fine. But it's when you're seeing like over the course of, I don't know, not loads of time, but multiple different kinds of drink, and you're just like, what? By this point, I'll be on the floor. What's going on here?
The next question is, how does it start?
Oh God, I was going to give you another situation, but how does it start? We're really going down this avenue.
Yeah.
How does it start? Usually, well, just going, just the first drink, I would say, is how it starts.
And then it says, what is the next thing that happens?
Another drink.
How does it end?
With me waking up the next day like, what?
Oh my gosh.
How did I get home?
How do you feel?
Now or then, or does it not matter?
I think it's
whenever.
Like when you wake up afterwards.
Terrible, because firstly, you've got a hangover, and let's face it, those are not fun. And then secondly, it's like, oh God, what did I say? What did I do? Like, and at the moment as well, it's like, why are you not putting your safety first? Why do you not think that when you drink, if you're not close to home, even if you are close to home, you are like, why can you not just even moderate based on the fact that you for your own safety?
Yeah.
And not just like in your own body, because obviously alcohol is a poison and it's, you know, it is killing you more, but also like you have to get from like A to B. You've got to get from A to home.
Yeah.
And or A to B to C to home, whatever. And you're not. How is that happening?
Yeah. Gosh.
And then also there's the anxiety about like, what did you do? What did you say? Do people think that you're just a hot mess? Was everybody else that drunk?
Yeah, because the other question doesn't really work in this situation, because it says, how does the other person playing the game feel? So the other people who are drinking too much with you.
Well, for me, then I'm thinking, are they thinking, why is she always like this? Why is she always getting too drunk? Why is she like, she's a mess? What's she doing? She's embarrassing. Or they're thinking, sometimes it's like, are they like, oh, they're all they're this in the same situation, or everyone's like, let's keep drinking, so I think we're probably all feeling our own things. The worry for me more is when you think, was I the only one that was that drunk? And then you're like, well, what was everybody else drinking versus what was I drinking? Because everybody's having a drink around, so we're all drinking a lot. But then if I'm drinking, say for example, wine's a bad one, and if other people aren't drinking wine, then it's, you know, you just get
if they're
drunk,
drinking beer and you're drinking wine,
or even if they're even drinking spirits in a mixer, it's different. So
spirits hit me, man. I prefer them. Wine is just not my friend, because you can rarely drink the same wine. I hate when you change wine.
Well, suddenly it's like after 3 rounds, you've had a fucking bottle of wine. So that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
And some of the large wines that you can get here is half a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Like in one glass. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you remember how we used to always laugh, be like, oh, look how big the glasses are. Like, go
But you'd
home,
always
you
have a large,
alcoholic.
obviously. Like, but you don't always need to like have a large every round, because if you had gone for a small every round instead, you wouldn't be in this situation. Yeah, sure, but you would still be drunk and you would still have a good time. You do not need to have, like, I don't know, there's this thing of like excess in this country, or just a work. I don't know. You'll always go for the bigger thing or the more expensive thing or something. It's like something that's reassuring in that, like, oh, you're single or double, and you're like, oh, I better have a double. And you're like, why? Yes. You don't need it.
But also because with the amount of mixer they put in, just from a like nice drink perspective, you do need a double. It's too much mixer. And I remember I used to be like, okay, stop with the mixer, just and now, you know, I prefer sometimes to just drink liquor straight, because it's just that mix.
Usually would ask for a short.
Yeah, it makes me feel sick as hell.
Well, I'd always get vodka and soda, so it's not, and it's just like water.
Fine.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very refreshing drink.
So that's what I should be ordering. But anyway, so that's a pattern that I worry about slipping back into. It's just, it isn't something.
I will not let you. Oh my God, am I playing the rescuer? I'm sick of this. There's nothing I can do. I'm powerless in the situation.
Yes. Especially because you're not that it's on you to be here to fix it. And it's not, I'm making it sound like it's some big thing. It's just, it's a pattern that I've been in before. And because it's happened to me recently for the first time in a long time, owing to not being out, it makes me worry, oh no, now that I've got like this taste of going out. And it's especially annoying because I had so long at the beginning of the year of not drinking, that I'm like, well, you can do it, and you felt better for it, and you actually didn't feel good. Well, you didn't feel good the day after, and it's not, you didn't. Why did you do it? What was it that made you do it? Was it a social pressure thing? Was it why?
You don't have anything we can do that doesn't involve drinking, and quite frankly, I'm getting a bit sick of it. Like, I like drinking, I'm not gonna lie, but I just feel like I don't want to drink something that isn't that nice. I'm just drinking to get drunk in a pub. We were in a pub the other day. It smelled like, I'm not joking, I could smell the toilet plumbing, and it was disgusting. Like, I shouldn't even have to deal with that. That's
why are you drinking anything here, let alone a shit bottle? And I knew it from the off. I'm like, I'm ordering wine because I don't really fancy anything else, but it's a pub, and like, no disrespect to pubs here, but don't get wine from a pub because that's not what you're there for.
It's toilet cleaner sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, this is speaking as the house red girl. That's who I am, for context.
But then sometimes there weren't really that many choices.
Yeah.
You're like, well, there's 3 choices on here, so they're probably all going to be a bit trash. Anyway, so
and they literally make you feel sick. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't wait to be outside drinking rum instead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
interesting.
Yeah,
can definitely relate.
Yeah, I think it's a fairly common one.
Still not in a happy place with my alcohol, and I feel like I never will be until I finally decide to stop drinking, full stop.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah,
it's silly. Yeah, no, me neither. And I don't know if I ever will be, but maybe I will be. Maybe I'll just, because I have to say, I didn't, it's really, really nice not having the after effects of alcohol.
Agreed. I feel like in your normal day-to-day life, week-to-week life, when you're around your place where you live, it's just not what you want. I feel like it should be like a thing that you're on, maybe if you're on holiday, do you know what I mean, somewhere different. The idea of just sitting around in this miserable place keep you out. I'm depressed. I don't know, we'll see how I go.
Yeah, let's see what the summer holds and how things open up. So what have you been doing, guys, for context? So we officially opened up in England. I think now you can eat indoors and you can meet anybody outside, or is it still the rule of 6? I don't know.
I have no friends.
So basically, before you could only meet people and go to pubs or restaurants and eat outside. Rule of 6. I think it still is the rule of 6, but you can eat inside now, and you can also go and be inside other people's houses or something. I don't know.
Also don't know.
Well, basically, restrictions be lifting, but again, like I said a few weeks ago or last week, it's just I don't know how different my life will be. So
yeah,
or it might be like I might do something once a week or once every couple of weeks, which is like quite a lot. But I think a lot of other people seem to just be doing stuff every day or every other day and whatever. And I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that. Do I even want to be doing that? But even if I did want to be doing that, do I have anybody to be doing that with? Or like,
I want to finish what I set out to do this year. I don't care about anything else. I have tunnel vision, and next year I'm sure will be better. Like, if people want to go for a long walk, a hike, yeah, call me. If you want to do anything else.
On that note, do you know what I was thinking today? I was wondering if there's any. This is sorry, guys. We're just obviously going to be planning our lives now. It's come to that time of the podcast where we know you've dropped off, and this is just for us. I was wondering if there's anywhere between London and Birmingham where I could drive and you could go to a train, and then I could pick you up, and then we could go for a walk. Because I'm off for.
When are you off?
Like the next 2 weeks. I probably can't do Friday, but I could do any other day. I probably can't do tomorrow either.
Does it have to be this week?
It could be the next week, but I can't do Monday and Tuesday. So I could do Wednesday or Thursday, the bank holiday weekend week. Friday I'm getting my vaccine. Whoop whoop.
Oh, yay.
I got the text message today and I immediately booked both my vaccines. But now I'm panicking because I've booked it at a chemist as opposed to going to the hospital, and I'm thinking, shit, is that going to be? No, I'm more so fine. Because they might only have AstraZeneca, which I wasn't worried about before, but given that everybody's like, I'm like, oh God, should I be getting Pfizer instead?
We're too old for Pfizer to be dangerous for us. So Pfizer's only dangerous for people under 18 or something.
I mean, whatever. I'll take whatever's there. To be honest, at this stage,
I can't even say it. AstraZeneca. AstraZeneca. Why is that so hard for me to say?
AZ, as the cool kids say.
I took the as
/wankers.
I took it to the AZ. Sorry.
Jab me in the arm with the AZ.
Oh, it took everything in me not to complete that with another terrible bar.
Oh no! Why?
No, when you said AZ, the only thing that came to my head was Jay-Z or lazy.
Oh, okay.
Slumped out, left me feeling lazy was what I was going to say, but then it
that's so sense. Good. No, how?
It makes sense. I wasn't lazy.
That is
I was in pain.
Well, yeah, I think that's probably
that's why I can never be a rapper. Yeah, that's why. Wow. I've been listening to some I know I said I was listening to Lil Nas X, and I have been, but in between, so I switched from the most poppy cute music to really psychotic hip hop on mostly violins. Oh, it's so much good music out at the moment. I love it. It's actually I sound so pretentious, but it is it's like art in your ears. And they're talking about crazy stuff. Hip hop is still an art form. Fight your mother, not me. Don't fight your mother. Leave your mother alone. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I think I probably gave her enough grief growing up.
I'm surprised my mum hasn't cut me off.
Wow. I still am a nightmare, but thank you, mother. Shout out to mothers, especially our mothers. So speaking of music, two things. Firstly, I wondered, should we have watched Eurovision yesterday and made this episode about Eurovision? But then also,
did you watch the Amanda Holden clip?
I didn't, but I've heard about it.
Found it I'm gonna send it to you. I thought I was gonna retweet it, but I'll just leave it. It is funny.
Where she's like, I don't know the difference between any of these languages.
Yeah. It was only funny because it's just like, you do know which one is French. You do. Isn't she? She's not French.
Oh, I thought that she was specifically talking about Scandinavian
no, she
languages.
said two,
but wow, if it was just all European, then that is mad.
Yeah, she knows. And everyone was acting like they were so embarrassed of her, but I just was like, this is Britain.
Yeah. We refuse to learn any other languages, and we think that everyone should speak English. Obviously, like, fuck off. Don't be embarrassed.
That's not 100% true. We do learn French and German. I can't even pronounce good night in Dutch. Like, I'm looking at it and I can't say it, but bonsoir, that's French. Like,
of course,
that's French.
Guten Nacht, it's German.
Yeah, but I don't know how to say go Nodevond. Oh, go Nodevond.
I don't.
That sounds right-ish.
Yeah.
see, we are Amanda Holt.
Do we have any Dutch?
No shade to that woman, but
yeah, send it to me. Anyway, so I didn't watch it, obviously, but I've seen the highlights.
I just thought it was funny, because they all dress like Hunger Games, obviously, and then Amanda Holden saying all this stuff, and England gets nil point. I just thought it was hilarious. Like, to me, that is just a comedy of errors. Like, I love it.
But it's so predictable.
Is it?
Yeah.
Just the UK.
This isn't the first time we've got nil point.
I'm sorry, but England just don't put their best foot forward when it comes to the talent.
They don't. Yeah, come on. You need to bring it. Britain's already on the back foot anyway. People are not voting for us. They're voting for their friends, and we're no one's friends. Let's be clear.
We need to stop with this week. I'm not involved in this.
Britain's no one's friend.
And British by nationality alone.
But okay, so Eurovision aside, because I don't really have anything else to say. I watched on Friday. I watched Rocket Man.
Hold me closer, tiny fingers. Song.
It's a different song, but sure, the same. You know who it is. And
what is wrong with me? It's because the only words to Rocket Man I know is literally
I'm a Rocket Man.
And I was like, I can't say that.
Sure you can.
Yeah. I feel like Elton John is. I'm not going to say it. Anyway.
Oh, go on.
Like, in the race war, I acknowledge that Elton John is very talented, but it's just not. That is not something I grew up listening to. And I really realized that when I was with like a white friend that I had, who was a really good friend, and he was getting in his Elton John bag, and I was just like, oh my god, Elton John's like you guys is Michael Jackson. That's what it felt like. He's like your Stevie Wonder.
Well, yeah. I would. Yeah, I thought had, because my mum listened to, when she was younger, she listened to classical music and was in the orchestra, so we never grew up listening to any of those kind of things. I wasn't exposed to any of that kind of stuff until much later.
Listen to Elton John?
No.
Okay, it's a different thing then. Because I would have thought Elton John is someone like, even people who don't really listen to much other music listen to Elton John kind of thing. He's talented. Well,
I think it would have been something where she knew that he obviously would, existed and probably knew some of the songs, but she didn't really know them. She wasn't really into pop music growing up.
Because my dad listens to classical music. Like, he would wake us up on a Saturday morning with classical music, but by the evening we're listening to Shalimar, honey. Nobody's got time for no Beethoven at 7 p.m. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, she just didn't. It wasn't her thing. And the when she did start getting into music outside of that was, I think, when she was.
It's going to be someone crazy. I know it's going to be someone random.
No, it's not. It was, I think, and I'm just trying to think about how she got into music outside. I think it would have been because when she had her car. Her own car and being in the radio and then being able to listen to whatever you wanted, and it was a situation, this is going to sound really crazy and like we were in a really controlling house, which we were, but her car was her space to be able to do it, to listen to what she wanted, and we wouldn't have been able to do that at home because everything at home was dictated by our dad, and he certainly wasn't listening to any pop music. So what we listened to in the car with her was Shania Twain, and lots of it.
What an underrated songwriter.
Underrated, do you think? I feel like that's, everybody loves Shania. Everybody, if adults of our age.
That's like, how old do you think we are, honey? We are old.
Adults of our age, around our age, if you weren't listening to Shania Twain in a car singing along like with your mum, what were you listening to?
Loads of stuff. Roberta Flack. just
not like
top of my head.
Just but Shania, okay, maybe it's like white people.
Celine. I feel like Celine is really that girl when it comes to cross, like just the ballads. I know Whitney's that girl, but Celine Dion.
My mum wasn't. She was so unexposed to anything. So I suppose when she found and how she'll have found out about Shania Twain, she just didn't like. She had
a real moment though.
I mean, don't impress me much. I think it was around that time.
That was
massive,
huge.
And then Man, I Feel Like a Woman.
But what's the ballad she has? Looks like we made it. That is, I know I always say this, and at this point I am just taking the piss out myself, but that is one of my favorite songs. I love that song. And in the video she wears like a crushed velvet dress.
Long way.
That song made me cry. I'd never known love and I cried.
Someday. Said,
oh my god, another song that set me up to love these people that will never love me back.
Oh, I know.
Like, everyone's against us, but we're gonna make it.
Yeah, but then because at the end you'll have that moment where you're like, just look at us holding on.
What a gorgeous song.
Is it in a movie?
I don't know, I'll Google it.
Yeah, I do.
Still the one I want to.
None of us can sing it. We cannot do it justice. I apologize, Shania.
I don't. It's your fault.
You shouldn't have made such an absolute banger. Yeah.
If you didn't want us to sing it, why did you?
You didn't want us to butcher it. Yeah.
Should have kept that one in the vault, okay? From this moment on is another one.
From this moment, life has begun.
Yeah,
I will love you. Is that from a movie?
Yeah, I think that's from a movie.
Yeah.
And it's from this moment where she's wearing the crushed velvet dress. That dress is gorgeous. She's also wearing a bindi, so unnecessary in her hair.
Oh, damn it.
She's just crossing all the lines. But the dress.
But for that song, I'll allow it. I say I'll allow it as if I'm allowed to. I'm not allowed to. Also, then Gwen Stefani.
Gwen Stefani's gotten away with murder in this lifetime. She will never answer for her crimes.
No.
Everyone of all races loves her. I don't know how she's gotten to, like... Imagine if Ariana Grande started doing the stuff that Gwen Stefani did. We'd be like, I know that's maybe a bad choice.
I think that's a bad choice because I feel like, again, everybody loves Ariana. No?
I was going to say she's had her moments too. No shade to that girl. With Ariana Grande, that she really does have a phenomenal voice. So
yeah, and her her impersonations, she can really do everybody's voice.
Hey, impersonations. The only person who's done an impersonation I think I've liked was Christina Aguilera.
Doing?
I can't fucking remember.
Christina.
I know she did Britney once, I think. Yeah, I hate Ariana Grande doing impressions. Not because she does bad impressions, but by the time she was doing them, it had been a segment on that show for so long. I was like, if you want to view all of it, like, I need someone to shock me. Do you know what I mean? That's the only way I'm getting back into impressions. I need Pharrell Williams
Shock
to
you
do
with
Britney
what?
Spears.
Okay, right.
Do you know
Something
what I
that's
mean?
yeah.
Like, I'm sick of impressions.
Yeah, like Ariana doing Whitney, that's not new to me. That's
I don't think
nothing.
she
I
ever
need
did
something.
Whitney.
I think
And
she did.
No shade to anybody out there.
Well, no one's going to do Whitney like Whitney.
No, it's not. This is my one person. I hate when people get precious about singers, but my one singer that I don't you fucking dare, is Whitney Houston. That's when I get irrational. I'm like, leave Whitney out of it. Oh my God, I watched Red Table Talk and Bobby Brown was on it. You know, Bobby Brown was married to a Whitney Houston.
I do, yes.
I don't know. Sorry. I'm sorry.
God, I watched like a Whitney Houston
documentary.
biopic.
Oh my God.
Not
I've never watched the biopic.
I don't know if this one was I mean, there's probably
like
quite
three
a lot
unofficial.
More. Yeah. This one was a mess. An absolute mess.
Watch the documentary. Oh, the way I cried.
Did you say biopic or biopic?
Biopic?
Yeah, me too.
Who's a biopic?
The Americans.
That's a biopic, as in the picture that you put in your bio on social media. That's not a word.
Yeah.
2 words. And even then it's a colloquialism. Get it together.
But then I get why people would call it a biopic, because it's biographical movie picture, whereas biopic is like,
oh, that doesn't make sense. You're right.
Exactly. I was offended when I found that out, but I was like, it's still biopic though. Biopic is stupid.
Biopic is Instagram picture.
Yes.
People literally say new biopic.
Yeah.
It's not your biology. Get a grip. Sorry guys, you are right, but I'm irrational again. Wow, another thing I'm irrational.
Not right, but I'm not going with the logical answer anyway, because I think that actually that's not how it was supposed to be pronounced.
It just doesn't sound right. Biopic.
But I think that's because what we've grown up with it being biopic. And I think in the States they say biopic, so maybe they'd think that we were nuts, and also they'd be like, ours is also way more logical. Apologies to any Americans listening to it that are like, we don't say that, we also say biopic.
Yeah, because it could be one of those things where it just really depends on your accent.
Yeah,
like laugh or laugh.
Yes.
Oh my God, that really upset me this week, because it turns out even though I say laugh, I sing laugh.
You do sing with your, I guess it would be your Croydon accent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How weird is it?
Are you asking me like to answer you, or was that rhetorical? You're like, tell me honestly, how weird is it?
I did say it like I really wanted to know.
Yeah. Like,
on a scale of
how do I answer this? What do
it?
you want from me?
It is super. No, you have to stop telling me what you think I want to hear. You have to tell me the cold hard truth, even though you know I can't handle it, because I'm an over emotional sensitive bitch. let the record stay. But yeah, I sing laugh, and when I sing laugh, it doesn't sound like when I say it goes like laugh. It sounds crazy. So but yeah,
it's well, when you listen to how you actually sound versus how you think you sound in your head, it's quite crazy. When I listen to the podcast, I really drag on words, and
because you said everything. It then it made me think you just did it, but I'm like, maybe you don't, and it's just because I'm like, whoa, no,
I kind of I'm quite. I think how would I describe it? It's like dragging on words and like.
Isn't that just because we're like suburban girls kind of thing? Like we just sound like dumb valley girls. No shade to people.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, maybe. Oh okay.
It's just like we're not.
Sorry, it's a caterpillar. I don't know if it's the same one or if it's a different one.
Oh my God! Don't tell me the caterpillar brought friends.
I hope it's a caterpillar or not. I'm gonna have to put it outside because I just
100%. I can't sleep.
It won't It won't survive in here anyway because it's
Why?
not meant to. I think it'll just be too. I just don't think it would survive out here. I think they're outdoor creatures, and
Yeah, but they're adaptable.
I know it's gonna die if I put it outside, but at least outside it will feed a bird or something, you know.
That was dark, man.
In
That
here,
was-
it's only gonna die or infest or, you know, just do bad things. So
That was a real circle of life moment, and it moved us all. Oh my god, what am I doing right now?
Yeah, yeah.
That's an actual language. You can't do things like that. Oh god.
Oh yeah, that was a good song though.
Big bad and heavy. I don't know why these songs are coming into my head right now.
What, like last week when you were talking about Daenerys riding Khal cock?
Oh, do you know what I was thinking about? You know when you watch this, I haven't watched it in a while, but in British porn they always say like hard cock. It's like in real life you would say it maybe in a casual conversation, but in bed you would never call somebody's penis a cock.
What do you call it? Dick. Maybe.
Yeah.
I think dick is better
Cock
than
is
cock
too
is
formal.
so formal.
Yeah, because it just sounds so like cock.
Hello sir, you've got a really big hard cock.
Unless that's what you're going for, it just sounds a bit mental. Cock. What word?
Yeah, it isn't like sexy.
No, the British accent is not really.
Certainly not the way that I speak when I'm like, sexy. What do you think? I don't know. Apologies to the listeners out there.
Oh my god.
Once again, if you've got to this point in the podcast, then
I
thanks.
know, then you obviously need to go and see a therapist. We had some feedback that was like, oh yeah, it's funny. What did you say? A bit rambly. You know, I'm taking that to the grave. That's not
great,
what
to
taking
heart.
it to the grave means.
No, you're taking that to heart, and you're
I mean,
holding
I'm
it
gonna
against
hold
to
on
that
to it until I get
person.
to
Yeah,
that
that grudge will linger and grow and evolve until it's uncontrollable, and you hate that person for no apparent reason.
100%.
But you hate that person for telling the truth.
And I hope you're listening to this.
We are not here for the truth. We can't handle the truth.
We never said we could. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. What does like? It's funny but a bit rambly. To me, that's basically what I take from that. Is it's a bit rambly, and you've tried to make that not insult, that honest bit of feedback sound nice by at least saying that it's.
Oh no, I can't accept that. I have to hold on to that. It's funny. I'm like, of course it's funny, even if it's
funny. Yeah, there are some pockets of genius.
I don't know.
I laugh. I said it. That's got to count for something, right?
As long as you're happy.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Oh yeah. Who was this person?
It was Toby.
Somebody that you know. Okay. Again, you should stop saying people's names.
But yeah, I'm not going to do that anymore because obviously I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
I'm such a twat. I'm someone who always wants honesty, and I just have no intention of taking it well. I don't even pretend I'm going to take it well. But if you don't give it to me, I get angry.
That's
I've had it before where
you play.
Yeah. No, but for me, it's just like, who cares how I feel? Just tell me. Who cares about my feelings? The truth is more important than my feelings.
But what are you going to do with the truth? Are we going to make this any less rambly?
No.
Well, is that what we were going for? Probably not. We wanted a bit of structure and cohesiveness, but we just can't stick to. We're just not disciplined at all. We don't do research, so we've got nothing to say, so we just have to fill the silence with.
And then when we do research, we just, I'll speak for myself, I overdo it, and then it just becomes too much research. We did a bit of research today.
Did we? No, you did. I did nothing.
Paracells, and you're like,
Honest
I
to
feel like you
God, I was thinking I should at least do some research after I'd watched it about this episode or about something, so I've got something to say, so I don't have to fall back on fucking Once Upon a Time. What did I do?
Yeah, but come on, I was not doing research. I googled the title and it accidentally came out.
You did the bare minimum. Is
No,
that how
I
you
wasn't-
found out?
I wasn't googling it to research. I
Oh,
was looking. I just couldn't remember what season and episode it
Right.
was, so I googled the title. Then I was like, oh my god!
God.
Before I could be bothered to type Sex and the City,
I knew
just
exactly what
Googled it.
season it was for my crimes. That is how much I watched it.
I'm pretty sure the Pusha T song isn't even called that exactly. Let me check. Right now, live on the podcast. I know I can't afford to stop. It's called The Games We Play. Is that what it's called? The episode?
No games people play.
Okay. It's a really good song. I recommend it to
Should be
people.
called People Play Games.
It's the album cover where they use the picture of Whitney's bathroom that was leaked once. So obviously when I saw that, I was extremely disgusted and offended. I can't lie.
I guess that was the point. To disgust and offend you personally.
No, I don't think it was.
specifically.
It's like that idea of taking moments from like what they call quote unquote pop culture are like iconic moments and making it a piece of art, but it's just like, what's your intention behind that? Is it just
Shock, or is it?
And I just feel like people take things, men in particular, take things and just lay them out in the most vulgar way and call it art. Sorry, I'm still upset about that apparently. Wow. I didn't realize. But as I told you, Whitney Houston is my Achilles heel. So
Don't say that on the podcast. Don't let people know.
I'll never let them know your weaknesses. No, they may as well know. Because the things that really have me fucked up, I can barely tell a therapist. You'll never get those. I was raised a vault. Good luck.
Yeah, that's true. You'll get my quote unquote kryptonite. there's like the public kryptonite.
Exactly.
For
then there's the kryptonite you
for
tell
appearances.
Yeah. The things that you tell like your partner, then you go deeper, things that you tell your best friends, and then there's things that like
then there's the kryptonite that you tell the person, the toxic person who you're trying to get to love you in the hope that they'll love you because of
if they
this.
just see the real you. I have had that. That was my last ditch attempt. I was like, I'm just gonna bear it. I'm just gonna lay it all on the table.
And they'll love me for my honesty. I'm weak and vulnerable. I've never told anybody this before. Wow. No, I never let anybody in, but I'm letting you in.
I didn't even realize.
And they're like, I didn't ask for this.
They're annoyed. Man. They're like, I'm trying to get rid of you. But honestly, to this day.
Like, okay, I'll tell you. You wanted to know why I push people away so much? And they're like, nah, it's okay, bye. You're like, it was my father. It was my childhood. I never felt loved. And they're like, oh, God.
And they're like, no, I have to deal with this.
Then they don't deal with it, and then that gives you even more ammunition to be like, and I told them my deepest, darkest secret, and they just walked away. They're heartless. Fuck, we are fucked up.
You can get like a whole album out of that little soliloquy, and I have.
You could auto-tune that for me and do it. Oh man.
Once again, Natalie, you've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
This podcast should be called Things We Didn't Want to Know About Ourselves.
Yeah. Things that you didn't want to know about us too. But we are ramming it down your throat.
We don't care either. So.
Bearing all in the hopes that you'll love us and leave us a 5-star rating. Yes. Please. guess I'm not
Yeah.
above using our trauma to get reviews.
Absolutely not.
But positive only, please. I do have a sensitive
keep that
soul.
negative energy over there, okay?
Yeah, keep all the toxicity to yourself.
I don't mind negative emails that I can obsess over, pick apart, and prove to myself.
Don't make
word
it
by
public,
word that
because
you
then
are.
again,
Yeah.
my nightmare, you make it public and then other people look at it or hear it and they're like, yeah, God, you're right, didn't think it, but actually they aren't funny and they do ramble.
Do ramble, but
No,
I
we
just,
do,
to be
I
honest,
know.
I thought that was podcast, but that should show. But then I was thinking about all the podcasts
It's not, though,
I listen
'cause
to.
I
They
listen
do
to
have
other-
structure.
Yeah, no one rambles on the podcasts that I listen to because they have structure or they talk about actual things. We're just like,
Yeah,
what are you having for tea? Like,
I like it. It's raw.
that's for sure. Yeah. This is our raw, unedited lives and selves.
Oh my God. I woke up the other day and I thought about one of the, those live performances I did outside. One of them is terrible, like really bad.
Which one?
The one where I'm
Do you mean
at
last
the
year?
beach. Yeah. I'm
Oh
on the
no!
beach.
Right, sorry, I thought you meant like the actual performances, not the videos. Like, remember last year you did some outdoor performances, which were good.
Oh, that was bad when I was shrinking, but that's fine. I can live with that. But the one that I did on the beach is awful. And I woke up thinking I should really delete that. Like, I woke up from my sleep thinking, why have I left that on the internet? That is going to come back to bite me one day. I'm like gasping for air throughout the whole thing. And I played it to my cousin, which is like the worst thing to do because she's never lied to me a day in my life. She was like, this is terrible.
Oh no!
Like, this is so bad. But then I kind of like how bad it is because it's so funny. Like, even when I was editing it, I actually thought it was funny because I could hear myself gasping for air and I couldn't stop laughing. But now I'm like, but that doesn't need to be on the internet. Like, who am I trying to prove something to? Like, I'm like, yeah, I stand by it. It's terrible and I don't care. I do care,
like,
and I should delete it.
There's like 3 people. You're like, no, I can't delete it because then everyone will know. I just have to do it and then, yeah, stand by it and be fine with it. And it's like, no one's going to call you out for it because no one fucking knows.
And it's got 2 thumbs downs for a reason.
Oh no!
It is not good. That one got the most views and the most thumbs up.
That's good.
And I'm just like, no, but it must be because I'm on the beach and everyone loves the beach.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I'm singing in a made-up key, as always. I'm going to make my own scale. Then who can tell me I'm off?
Yeah. You've not heard of R?
R squared. Don't know what it is. Wow. Yeah. Oh, another week of nothing, but it's not nothing. I have a lot to do.
Yeah, you gotta get
cannot
through
wait.
your album. EP? Album?
Whatever it ends up being.
Doesn't,
it might be
yeah.
a single.
Something.
Imagine it's a single. I'm like, it was all so
A single
bad.
where I'm like, the majority of this is my sampled line from our podcast
I remixed
of how to get away. I mean, how to lose a guy in 10 days. That would be funny.
That would. Yeah, 100% would. I would do.
I'm like, I recognize this brand.
Oh my God. I've also
was the
realised that
funniest.
I'm not finishing things because ultimately I'm afraid of failure.
Yeah.
And I block myself at every twist and turn. Part of it is that I have an unrealistic expectation of how much work I can do in a day, which I've always had. But another part of it is just my fear of failure. Like, I don't even want to do it. And I'm making up all these elaborate excuses. Like, I have a song that's been ready and I won't do the artwork because once I do the artwork, I have to upload it. And once I upload it, other people are going to listen to it. And I don't want them to. So I keep, like the other day, I was like, I need nails. I went and bought nail extensions. I painted them all. I was like, now I need to stick them on, but I have to wait for the right time to stick them on. And then I realized you won't be able to see my nails in the picture. So I did my hair yesterday. Then I was like, oh, but it's raining. I have to go for a walk. Now my hair's ruined. I couldn't possibly do it. Just take a picture.
Yeah.
and upload the song. I
Or
don't
use
want to
an
release the
orchestra.
song. Ultimately, I don't want to release any music, and this isn't what I want to do in my life. I don't want to do it. I just want to make it. Can't I just make it and put it somewhere? I should have
Yeah,
done it
of course
anonymously.
you can do that.
I've done it.
Do
I've
whatever
gone
you
about
want.
everything wrong.
No, you haven't. You're just having a moment.
I've been having a moment for a week.
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, ultimately, it doesn't matter.
Also, you just need to make it and then decide what to do with it later.
Yeah,
You don't have to decide what to do with it right now. You just want to make something. That's what you want to do. Create it. It doesn't have to go anywhere. You can release it. It's like that's all to play for. It's fine.
Yeah, I really need to release those singles though. I just need to get them out the way.
Maybe they're blockers for moving on to other things. Do you feel like that's, if releasing them, you'd then be able to then focus, and it's like, well, whatever will be with those. Is your fear about what's gonna?
That will put that people think they're terrible, and it will put them off anything else I release after that.
I don't think that's going to be the case. And if it is, it is. You but you'll never know until you put them out there. Do you like them? Are you happy with them?
I like one of them. I'm not really happy with the other one, but I like the song, and I'm not re-recording it. I'm just not. I refuse. I've done it. I've been playing games. I've been playing games with this song for 6 months.
I can't wait to hear the song of this realization.
Well, you'll
everything that we do.
That's how long it takes me between an idea.
This is a game. This is a game. We're doing a game. Ah.
Yeah.
We literally play games on this podcast.
It's our favorite thing to do.
It is our favorite thing to do, and we think that we're the victims.
But the times where I've been the perpetrator have been so dark for me. You never want to be in that space again.
We're always the perpetrator, because you're always the perpetrator of your own game, because you always have agency as to how you can react to other people's games that they're playing. You can choose to be whatever role in that game you want to be. Obviously, a lot of the time it feels like you don't have a choice because you're being led a certain way. But I think we can either choose to be the victim, but then that just plays into how we feel in the game that we continue to play, rather than being like, you know what, I'm not.
And when to anybody out there who's genuinely been a victim, we're not victim shaming. That's a whole different bag. We're talking about the things that we do to ourselves where we create an illusion of victimhood. We're not talking about like when you actually are a victim of something.
That's completely
that's very real too.
And also a very good distinction to make.
Do you know what song is a really good song? That song that's like, you do it to yourself. You do. Lyrically, that chorus is phenomenal, because I do. And that is why it really hurts.
Yeah, because you're always thinking it's the other person when it...
Yeah.
They obviously contributed to certain factors, but
But what about when you realise that, like, even if they're playing games and they'll never be what you want, you would rather have, because this is something this is so embarrassing to admit, you would rather have that person in the worst way than not have them at all.
Yeah, but that's because by that point I think to myself, or I tell myself that it's that person, I really like them, and you would rather. But I think it's just, again, rather having, well, sometimes they're like, well, it's better the devil it's kind of like, well, at least you know what you're getting with this situation, whereas somebody new, you don't know what you're getting into, and also the alternative is just being on your own. And when you're with somebody and you've had good moments, you forget because you're so blinded by the good moments, even if they're
that are phenomenal.
You're like, that this is so amazing that I would rather stick around for that, on the off chance that it's going to go back to that.
That's so pathetic.
Rather than go back to exactly. And it takes I am not grown enough to be able to snap out of that and see like what if I know. Because there's always a point, it's not going back to how it was at the beginning. but you're sticking around because I think maybe you're hoping that they will realize that they love you and they want to be with you and it was so good and they whatever, but for whatever reason it's not going to go back. Instead of just walking away, you'll just keep, that's when you get into the cycle, because it just feels better than you think at that time that it's even that is better than just being on your own and being lonely, even though it's not, because you're like, it's, you romanticize things.
Yeah.
Not you specifically, but you generally, and us both personally. I think when you're with somebody, it's so easy to just romanticize being with them and not and what being alone also looks like, and thinking that you just don't want that.
I don't know, I feel like I've even been with other people and just thought, like, compared to that one moment, that one moment with that person was better than any of these moments.
It is nuts how long I can like you can sustain yourself on one freaking moment with somebody. It's crazy.
Moment was magic. I don't regret it. That moment was heaven.
Yeah, those moments sustain me for sustain me for years. Yeah.
Imagine if everyone like who's like in a long-term relationship listens to this, like, what do you guys think
these
there is?
guys,
like, that's all
crazy.
That's all there is.
Like, oh, is that not? And then or they're suddenly like, oh wait, shit, this
is that not what
you're describing? Yeah, maybe I shouldn't be with this person. Yeah. No, but I think that's a quote unquote failing on my part for not putting myself out there and just allowing myself to like be sustained by this little nugget of magic and hold on to it as well, like a fucking creature that like holds onto it and keeps it and grows it, and it then but then you, instead of like letting it go and being like, okay, that's fine, and letting it go out of your life, saying thank you, that was great, goodbye, and being open to something else, I will hold on to it like fucking Gollum with the ring. And like, it's like you don't want anything to take it away from you, even when that person is long gone from your life. It's still there burning it. You're still harboring onto this thing, and that is fucked up, because then I'm not like allowing myself to have that with anybody else. It's stupid. It's madness. But this is what I do. There you go. That's a pattern for me. Who am I in this situation? I'm Gollum.
Yeah,
that's the player that I am.
Who am I?
So
the girls.
I mean,
I'm not. I was even thinking about a date that I went on that was like such a nice, because I've only ever had, when I think about it, like, no offense to anybody who's ever been on a date with me, I don't mean it to be nasty to you.
You're all terrible.
I guess I've only had like one date that was like a really nice date.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it today, and I was like, I wonder what she's doing. I was like, get over it. It was 2 years ago.
What did you do? If you don't, a nice.
We went to just went to do you know that vegan cafe that used to be near mine? I don't know. I think they're not a cafe. I think they're a cafe.
They're not a greasy spoon.
Yeah, but I just went there, and it was just like, I usually hate that place, but it was just nice. But I think it was just because I was on a date with someone who was a nice person, who was looking to genuinely get to know me, whereas I'm usually on dates with people, or just in situations with guys who are trying to get it in. And it's just like, but to be honest, dates also intimidate me. I usually give me such anxiety. I feel so much pressure. I'm like, God, I don't want to marry you.
and they're like, wow, I just wanted to get it in. You're being intense. Yeah,
that's why I get really defensive, because I'm just like, whatever you want, I don't have it for you, leave me alone. I just want someone who is so laid back and chilled, I don't even know. I'm just me when I just get so defensive. I find it unattractive when someone wants me in that way, which is probably why I enjoyed that date, because it was just like, just sweet, nice, bit of pressure, not doing too much. Also, men are terrible, don't date them. I'm just saying, real talk.
Yeah. On that note, though, I think that maybe we do need to wrap it up.
Okay, bye.
Whoa.
Oh, I really
Take
wanted to
it.
finish on this timestamp. So
Oh.
see ya.
Well, you can cut it and then we can finish that. Bye.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes! We won the game!